The Nuuanu Pali lookout stands as a breathtaking spectacle on Oahu, its sheer cliffs rising dramatically above the lush windward coast. The powerful winds that funnel through this natural pass are a constant presence, often strong enough to lean into, and they seem to carry the echoes of ancient warriors. This iconic viewpoint is more than just a scenic overlook. It is a profound memorial, a natural monument to the high stakes and brutal finality of the unification wars that shaped the Hawaiian kingdom. The very landscape here bears witness to the lives lost and the kingdom forged, imbuing this site with a deep sense of historical gravity and human cost. At the heart of this transformative period was Kamehameha I, a figure of immense historical significance. Born around 1758, a year when Halley's Comet reportedly passed over Hawaii, Hawaiian legend prophesied his birth as that of a great chief. His early life was marked by a period of hiding from warring clans in Waipio Valley, and his legendary strength was later demonstrated by his ability to overturn the massive Naha stone in Hilo, a feat that, according to prophecy, signaled his destiny to rule the islands. Kamehameha's ultimate ambition was revolutionary: to unite the disparate warring chiefdoms of the Hawaiian Islands into a single, cohesive royal kingdom. By May 1795, Kamehameha had largely achieved his conquests, bringing most of the islands under his control. However, Oahu, along with Kauai and Niihau, remained independent. Oahu, under the leadership of Chief Kalanikūpule, represented the last major obstacle to Kamehameha's vision of a unified Hawaii. The impending Battle of Nuuanu was not merely another skirmish in a long series of conflicts. It was the decisive confrontation that would determine the fate of the entire Hawaiian archipelago, a pivotal moment in Kamehameha I's quest for unification. Before Kamehameha's invasion, Oahu was under the rule of Kalanikūpule, the Moi, or king of Oahu and Maui. He had inherited this significant control from his father, Kahekili II, a powerful high chief who, before his death in July 1794, had gained authority over all the Hawaiian Islands except for Hawaii, Kauai, and Niihau. Kalanikūpule was a formidable leader, belonging to the longest line of Ali Nui, the noble class of Hawaiian society. However, Kalanikūpule's position was not entirely stable. Immediately preceding Kamehameha's invasion, Oahu was embroiled in significant internal strife. Following Kahekili's death, disputes arose between Kalanikūpule and his uncle, Kaeokulani, over the inheritance of Maui. This power struggle escalated into a full-scale conflict known as the Kukiʻiahu War, which raged from November 16th to December 12th, 1794. Although Kalanikūpule ultimately emerged victorious, partially due to assistance from foreign ships and their artillery, this victory came at a cost. His forces were likely depleted, and the political stability of Oahu was compromised in the months leading up to Kamehameha's arrival in April 1795. This short time frame between Kalanikūpule's internal conflict and Kamehameha's invasion suggests minimal recovery time for Oahu's military and political infrastructure. The Oahu army, therefore, was not at its peak strength or cohesion when Kamehameha launched his decisive campaign. This pre-existing condition of internal division and recent conflict significantly contributed to Kalanikūpule's eventual defeat, setting a crucial contrast with Kamehameha's more unified and well-prepared forces. Oahu itself held immense strategic importance. Waikiki, in particular, had long been a center of political and economic power. Its organized network of kalo, or taro, patches, and fish ponds provided an abundant food supply, fostering political stability for centuries. High Chief Maile Kukiʻiahu, in the 15th century, recognized this strategic advantage and relocated his royal court to Waikiki, establishing an ahupua'a, or land division system that solidified its prominence. Conquering Oahu was not merely about seizing another island. It was about capturing the historical heart of Hawaiian power and resources, a critical step for establishing a lasting, unified kingdom. Kamehameha understood this, later making Waikiki his capital. The late 18th century marked a dramatic shift in Hawaiian warfare, fundamentally altered by the arrival of European explorers and traders. Before this contact, Hawaiian battles were fought primarily with traditional handmade weapons such as clubs, laupalau, spears, pololu, daggers, and slings. The introduction of guns and cannons by Europeans, however, profoundly changed the dynamics of power among the local chiefs. This technological leap provided a decisive advantage to those leaders who could acquire and effectively utilize these new armaments. Kamehameha was particularly adept at leveraging this new technology. He came into possession of a cannon and several small arms following a violent encounter in February 1790 with Captain Simon Metcalfe's trading vessels, the Eleanor and Fair American. This acquisition of modern weaponry emboldened Kamehameha, providing him with a technological edge that few other chiefs could match in scale or training. Crucially, Kamehameha also benefited from the expertise of foreign advisors. British sailor John Young and Welshman Isaka Davis, both captured by Kamehameha, became indispensable military strategists. They trained Kamehameha's troops in the use of muskets and other firearms and adapted European military tactics to Hawaiian warfare. John Young in particular was directly responsible for the cannon during the Battle of Nuuanu. While these European military innovations were undoubtedly crucial for Kamehameha's success in unifying the islands, the increased foreign contact also brought unforeseen and tragic consequences. For example, in 1804, a terrible plague, likely cholera, introduced by foreign ships, devastated Oahu's population and even afflicted large numbers of Kamehameha's own army. This illustrates how the very external forces that provided the means for military conquest simultaneously introduced severe public health crises, resulting in catastrophic losses of indigenous life. This complex interplay highlights the often destructive nature of colonial-era interactions, where advancements in one area, such as military technology, could be accompanied by profound human suffering due to factors beyond direct combat. In February 1795, Kamehameha assembled a formidable invasion force, the largest the Hawaiian Islands had ever witnessed. His army comprised approximately 12,000 men, supported by an impressive fleet of 1,200 war canoes. Some historical accounts estimate his total strength to be even higher, ranging from 10,000 to 16,000 warriors. This overwhelming display of force was a testament to Kamehameha's exceptional organizational skills and the unwavering commitment of his allied chiefs. The invasion commenced in April 1795, with Kamehameha's forces landing on Oahu's shores, stretching from Waialae to Waikiki. They established a strategic camp along the sands of Waikiki Beach near the Helemoa coconut grove, where they meticulously gathered supplies and scouted Kalanikūpule's defensive positions. This well-chosen beachhead provided a secure base for operations and a clear path into the island's interior. Kalanikūpule, aware of the impending invasion, had attempted to prepare for Kamehameha's assault by constructing several lines of fortifications across Oahu. He had also acquired some muskets and cannons from European traders. However, his arsenal of modern weapons was significantly smaller than Kamehameha's. Furthermore, the Oahu leadership faced a significant psychological and strategic disadvantage. Kamehameha's massive army would have been an intimidating sight, likely impacting Oahu's morale even before the first major engagement. This numerical and technological disparity was compounded by Kalanikūpule's recent internal conflict with his uncle Kaeokulani, which had likely strained his resources and cohesion. Adding to this fragmentation was the defection of Kaiana, one of Kamehameha's own chiefs who joined Kalanikūpule's forces just before the battle. This act of internal betrayal further weakened Oahu's resolve and potentially sowed distrust within its ranks. These compounding disadvantages meant that Kalanikūpule's army was not at its full strength or unity when Kamehameha launched his invasion, setting the stage for a confrontation where one side was already significantly compromised. Kamehameha's military strategy at Nuuanu represented a revolutionary departure from traditional Hawaiian warfare. He employed innovative tactics, including the disciplined pike and shot formation, with pikes forming a deep center and muskets deployed on the flanks. This European style of warfare was meticulously taught to his army by foreign advisors such as John Young and notably Captain George Vancouver, who instructed Kamehameha's forces in close order drill. This marked a significant shift from previous Hawaiian combat, which typically involved spear throwing followed by individual duels or group charges. The strategic deployment of cannons was another critical element of Kamehameha's success.
His men undertook the arduous task of trundling these heavy cannons, acquired from European sources, up the muddy Pali trails. Once positioned, these cannons were used to shell Kalanikupule's defensive positions, raining down fire on an army primarily armed with traditional, handheld native weapons. This profound technological and tactical asymmetry between the forces highlights that the Battle of Nuuanu was not merely a clash of chiefs, but a confrontation between military eras. Kamehameha's integrated approach, combining advanced weaponry with disciplined European tactics, irrevocably changed the nature of warfare in Hawaii. This decisive demonstration of technological and strategic superiority cemented Kamehameha's dominance, setting a precedent for future conflicts and governance across the islands. Despite the overwhelming odds and their technological disadvantage, Kalanikupule's forces fought with fierce determination. The Oahu warriors made a desperate stand, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat at the precipice of the Pali. A notable event during the battle was the defection of Kaiana, one of Kamehameha's own chiefs who had fallen out of favor and joined Kalanikūpule. However, Kaiana was fatally wounded during the fighting, and Kalanikūpule himself also sustained injuries. This loss of key figures further destabilized the Oahu defense as the battle reached its tragic climax. As Kamehameha's forces relentlessly closed in, the Oahu army, with its leadership in disarray and no viable escape route, was driven back through the Nuuanu Valley. The battle reached its horrifying climax at the Nuuanu Pali. Caught between Kamehameha's advancing army and a sheer 1,000-foot drop, hundreds of Oahu warriors faced an impossible choice. Accounts vary, but over 700, and by some estimates 800 Oahu warriors either jumped or were pushed over the edge of the Pali cliffs to their deaths. This tragic event is known in the Hawaiian language as Kalele Ka'anae, meaning the leaping mullet, a poignant reference to the desperate final moments of these brave warriors. This immense loss of life, concentrated in such a dramatic and brutal act, underscores the extreme desperation of Kalanikupule's forces and the relentless nature of Kamehameha's pursuit. The physical impact of this event has endured for centuries. In the 1960s, during road construction at the base of the Pali, the bones of over 800 warriors were discovered, providing tangible and chilling confirmation of the historical accounts. Today, the Nuuanu Pali is not merely a tourist attraction, but a sacred site, where local legends speak of night marchers, the ghostly spirits of ancient Hawaiian warriors. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs, OHA, is actively working to establish a Native Hawaiian burial memorial at the Pali State Wayside for repatriated iwi po skull bones, believed to be from the battle, further demonstrating the enduring cultural impact and reverence for these ancestors. The site stands as a powerful reminder of the human cost of the unification, transforming a battlefield into a living memorial and a focal point for contemporary Hawaiian identity and cultural preservation efforts. Though Kalanikuʻupule managed to escape the immediate chaos of the battle, his freedom was short-lived. He was captured several months later and ultimately sacrificed to Kamehameha's war god, Kukiʻiahu. This act symbolized the complete victory and elimination of Kamehameha's last major rival on Oahu. The Battle of Nuuanu marked a decisive victory for Kamehameha I, effectively eliminating his last major rival on Oahu and securing his control over most of the Hawaiian Islands. This triumph not only demonstrated Kamehameha's exceptional military prowess, but also firmly established his authority as a formidable and undisputed leader. With Oahu now secured, Kamehameha's vision of a unified kingdom was nearly complete. He now ruled all the islands except Kauai and Niʻihau. While he prepared for their conquest, a peaceful resolution ultimately prevailed. In 1810, King Kamwali'i of Kauai voluntarily submitted to Kamehameha's sovereignty, allowing him to retain his position until death. This diplomatic resolution completed the unification of the Hawaiian Islands without further bloodshed, a remarkable achievement that solidified Kamehameha's reign as the first monarch of the unified Kingdom of Hawaii. Kamehameha's foresight extended far beyond military conquest. He was a profound nation builder. As an absolute ruler, he governed wisely, implementing legislative reforms that promoted safety and economic stability across the archipelago. He strategically divided lands to prevent future rebellions by ambitious chiefs and appointed governors to administer each island, thereby establishing a centralized governance structure. Kamehameha also introduced foreign trade, which brought both new goods and economic opportunities, alongside the challenges of increased external influence. His actions after the battle were critical for maintaining his unified kingdom, demonstrating that his vision encompassed not just military might, but also political and economic resilience. This comprehensive approach, coupled with the unification itself, was instrumental in allowing Hawaii to preserve its independence from European and American rule through most of the 19th century. The Battle of Nuuanu, therefore, was not merely the end of a conflict, but the violent birth pangs of a new unified Hawaiian kingdom, laying the groundwork for its future political and economic resilience against external pressures and enabling a period of sustained independence rare for Pacific Island nations in the face of Western expansion.